I'm Mark Callion, Mr. Saltwater Tank, coming to you on behalf of SaltwaterAquarium.com. Today I'm talking about one of my favorite pieces of gear on a saltwater tank, the sump. I love sumps on a saltwater tank. Now some people look at a sump and they say, Mark, it's a box that holds water that sits underneath your tank. And on one level, they're right. It is a box that holds water that usually sits underneath your tank. But when you look at a sump as an extension of a well-designed saltwater tank, the beauty and the utility of a sump shines through. Besides just getting equipment out of your display tank, what else does a sump do for you? Sumps can contain filter socks which catch large particulates in your tank's water, making your tank's water sparkly clean. What about roller mats? Those help you avoid filter socks. True, and I've yet to find one that works well or one that's big enough for the sumps that I'm running. Plus, a lot of these filter mats are permanent fixtures in your sump. If you don't like the roller mat, you can't take it out. Sumps can also contain refugiums, which is a space to grow macroalgae for nutrient export purposes. Personally, I'm not a fan of refugiums built into sumps, and here's why. Small refugium means small nutrient export, and small nutrient export means it's not going to do much for your tank. Imagine strapping an outboard motor onto a big cruise ship. You crank up the outboard motor and you look around and you go, we're not going anywhere very fast. What do you expect? The same thing is true with a small refugium built into a sump. You're simply not going to get that much out of it. Experience has taught me to have a refugium separate from the sump. That way the refugium can be sizable so that it actually does something for your nutrient export needs. But that's a different topic for a different show. Since sumps usually sit under a tank, a pump that pushes water back into your tank is required. That's called a return pump. The Trigger TideLine Sump is what I put on the Mega Matrix, and here's why. 7-inch filter sock. I do like filter socks on saltwater tanks, and a 7-inch sock is much easier to work on than a 4-inch sock. With a 7-inch sock, you can easily get your hand in the sock and invert it for easy cleaning. I also like how the TideLine Sump has a lid over the filter sock area. This reduces the water crashing noises, prevents salt creep, and makes the sump really clean. There's a separate section for the skimmer, which is a good size. You can't mess with physics, so if your skimmer won't fit in your sump, you've got problems. The TideLine Sump also has an additional chamber which you could use as a refugium if you wanted. This chamber can also function as a skimmer box chamber if the skimmer you want doesn't fit in a primary skimmer chamber. An adjustable baffle is next, which is great for setting the water height of the skimmer box section. Skimmers function best in specific water depths, and having the capability to adjust water depth in the skimmer box chamber is nice. Following the adjustable baffle is a series of horizontal shelves that can house sponge material or bags of chemical filtration such as GFO or carbon. An important bubble trap is next, which keeps bubbles from getting sucked into your return pump. Bubbles that get sucked into your return pump get chopped up into micro bubbles, which are annoying to have in your display tank. Final chamber in the TideLine Sump is a return box chamber where the return pump sits. The integrated probe holder and dosing line holder is also a nice touch on the sump. Once you've found a sump that has the features you like, how big of a sump should you buy? I prefer to buy the biggest sump that will fit in the space that I have available. A bigger sump means more water volume for your tank, and more importantly, it means that it's easier to get in and around that sump to work on the gear that's in and around your sump. Pro tip, if your sump or any gear in your sump is hard to get to, you're going to avoid servicing it. Pumps, media reactors, skimmers, and filter socks all need regular maintenance, and if you avoid maintenance long enough, you're going to have problems. Sometimes you can't buy a large sump because you're space constrained. That's what happened with the Mega Matrix 120 build, where I needed to fit the sump and an auto top-off container under the tank. That meant shrinking the sump to make room for the ATO container. If you shrink your sump, make sure your skimmer can still fit in it. Now that I've run saltwater tanks with sumps, it would be a really hard sell to get me to run one without a sump. Having a sump on your saltwater tank is a game changer. And when some people look at a sump, they say, well, that means I gotta plummet to get water back up into my tank. That's when they shut down and they say, forget it, I'm just not even gonna deal with a sump. Plumbing can be very straightforward, and that's what I'll talk about in the next episode. I'm Mark Callion, Mr. Saltwater Tank, coming to you on behalf of SaltwaterAquarium.com. I'll catch you in the next episode.